The Fast and the Furious 2001 action/racing film with Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, first one in the long-running series. And I feel like I should explain why I went back to watch this one. So, despite the popularity of the series over the years, I never actually saw any of them, except partly the first one back when I was a kid when it was on TV, and I barely remembered anything about it. But a few weeks ago, I saw a trailer to the new one coming up this year, which is actually a spin off called Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. And that trailer looks like it's going to be simultaneously the stupidest, most ridiculous, balls to the wall, crazy movie in a long time, and the best entertainment money can buy at the same time. Seriously, if you haven't seen it, just do. I'll put the link in the description of this video. However, from what I remembered about the first film of the series is that it was rather grounded, that there was illegal street racing involved and people were stealing DVD players, I guess, whereas the new trailer looks to be a little more wild. Just to mention a couple of things, the trailer shows Idris Elba being essentially a supervillain that can crush walls with his fists, calls himself Black Superman, this is not a joke. There is a chain of cars linked to a helicopter hanging off a cliff, as well as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who appears to be wrestling said helicopter with his bicep, Captain America style. So naturally I asked myself the question, what happened during those 8 films? How did we get from street racing and DVD players to literal superheroes? Where did the series just decide to go off the rails? And in order to satisfy my unhealthy curiosity, I decided to buckle up and do a full run through the series, which I nicknamed for my own purposes Descent into Madness. So here are my thoughts on the first film. It appears that my memory was rather correct. So Paul Walker plays Brian, an undercover cop who is sent to infiltrate the street gangs that run the illegal races and, more importantly, steal DVD players and other electronic goodies from unsuspecting truckers in the dead of night. And as he gets into the team of Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, he develops a romantic interest with his sister, but also as time goes by warms up to Dom himself and the other members of his little family and befriends them all, which means he sort of has to decide for himself where his loyalties lie at the end. So I'll start with the things that I didn't like. I think a lot of the visual effects have aged quite poorly and look utterly ridiculous now. I think that some of the overflowing machismo with all those muscular guys in sweaty t-shirts drinking Coronas and getting in each other's faces all the time is unintentionally funny. And I think that the acting overall is rather one note. I also didn't like the overuse of loud and obnoxious songs, which make it seem like the editor was just blasting a random radio station in every scene and just forgot to cut it all out. And finally, I think that there are some flaws to the otherwise alright and straightforward story. It falls apart a little bit towards the end, and there is one tiny subplot that just feels unnecessarily and hastily tacked on at a certain point. Having said all of that, though, I enjoyed the movie for what it was. I think it's a competent popcorn flick with a lot of fun banter and chemistry between the characters, decent action with a couple of really solid stunts, and most of all, the movie doesn't promise a lot, but what it does promise, light, undemanding entertainment, it does provide completely. It's a really decent film. I liked it. I'm also looking forward to the next one, surprisingly, especially as I was again correct in remembering that The Fast and the Furious is rather grounded and reasonably realistic. So the point where series loses its touch with reality is still somewhere ahead of me, and I eagerly await getting to it.